What have the auditors ever done for us? Well, there's the internal compliance, the external independent proof of compliance, and the governance. Where would the investor confidence be without the governance? And don't forget security. They're always asking questions with that. And then there's all that clearing up that happens before the auditors arrive. Now, this clearing the desks always proves useful in the long run. We know from our customer interactions that audits often trigger purchasing our products because we help to answer questions like, when was this password last changed and who has access to this system? These things reflect both security and compliance requirements. Then there's that interesting philosophical debate around, is a compliance system a secure system? Which in reality means that a non-compliant system is highly unlikely to be secure. To an auditor, a PAM solution provides the link between individuals and the privileged accounts that they used on systems. Where organisations used to use shared accounts such as root and admin, this was near impossible. Now, of course, PAM products should deliver all their events to SIEM logging so that these can be correlated with the events from the actual system estate. We're going to discuss what the PXM platform holds for auditors, and it's the sort of data that doesn't go to the SIEMs. We're going to show you how to answer auditor queries using some of the reports and pages from the PXM platform. Now, a good starting point is to be able to look in both directions. What privilege does this user have, and what users can access this system? Now, a better way of saying this, of course, is what roles can which users assume on what systems? As an overview, we'll start with the management page. It gives us a clear view of how many accounts have been discovered and how well these are covered in terms of credentialing rotation. In other words, are your passwords and keys getting changed? For auditing user privileges, here's a user page. Here's the profiles and here's the user groups. And here you can see all the devices this user could access and when they last connected. Here lower down, you'll see all the devices they could connect to but haven't. This could be latent threat, and we'll talk more about this later. Now let's consider this PBX system. Under User Access Control, we can see a list of the profiles that the system belongs to, and below that, a summary of all the people that are in those profiles, along with the access roles or the accounts that they're going to use on this system. Now, once again, on the right-hand side, we can see who has accessed the system and when. Lower down, we see who could access the system but hasn't. And in the final section, we've got account automation activity. So that's all the password roles. And we have a device audit, which checks for the accounts on the device, and it can discover accounts that have been added not by the PAM system since the last audit. Now we can switch our view over here to the accounts that have been discovered, and in this case, it's all good because they're all known. Here's a more complex example, and you can see that there are known and approved accounts. The approved accounts tend to be the daemon accounts. But what's this? There's a games account and an Enzo account. So let's just delete these for security. We can look at who's doing the most on our systems. You'll find this under User Rights Audit, then User Engagement. There's a table and a graph, and you can clearly see who's accessing the systems the most. The next tab along presents the same information from a profile context, which profiles are being used the most. The next is privilege distribution, which shows the relative proportion from the most privileged accounts to the least privileged accounts. Analytics is a more complex display. It's got overviews of periods of activity that can be viewed and then filtered for tasks and connections. Session IPs are always useful because now you know who's local and who's remote. Behaviour analytics has a few useful items for auditors, although these items are more useful when you know exactly what to expect from a team, because the graphs are really good at showing the unexpected outliers. Now, in particular, the latent threat page is a really good way of seeing who's got highly privileged access to systems that they're not using. And in fact, latent threat is probably one of the most useful pieces of information we deliver to an auditor. Under device access, we get a complete historical overview of all the sessions and operations that have gone through the PXM platform, and it's filterable by user, device, and even privilege level. And here you can see if there's any session recordings available. Sessions recording is defined in the profiles. SIEM schemes are vital for an organisation to get a full overview of what's happening. Where PAM is concerned, if there's a privileged login to a system that has not got a matching event from the PAM system, then this is absolute proof of an unauthorized access. This is where SIEM analysis becomes deterministic rather than probabilistic. Therefore, the emphasis in our PXM platform is deliver information to SIEM systems in Ceph format, and we've even got an elastic stack connector. Latent threat is about what could happen but hasn't, so it won't be in a SIEM. So in conclusion, the PXM platform delivers rich information to external SIEMs, delivers reports that reveal overprivilege, and has session recording. That's enough well-presented data to keep any auditor happy. If you'd like to know more, please get in touch.